Yesterday, we did a video. Like I said, we're going to do videos Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before we get started in the morning, just to get you guys going for the trading day and make sure you understand where these possible reversal points are for the entire trading day. So replay yesterday's video, 8:28. So at 8:28 yesterday, at 8:30 in the morning, we were sitting right at this level. We had a little buy signal that was going on in the market. We had a buy signal here, and the market was rallying. Okay, so we started talking on the video at this level, right there. So in the video, if you go back and play yesterday's video on 8:28, it will give you an idea how we try to find these reversal spots way before they happen. So if you replay that video from yesterday, 8:28 in the morning, when I was doing the video at 8:20 to 8:30 in the morning, you can see in that video I said we have a deep possible liquidity grab buy between 78 and 82. So replay that video so you can see this is not after the fact. We can project these reversals before they happen. So we said that if we get down to 78 to 82, that's a possible reversal point. And I marked it up like this. If you go back and replay that video, I said we can come down and we can V-bottom right off that level. If it doesn't reverse to that level, it can come down and reverse off this level. So good. Check that video out and you can see how this is a good projection. So that projection was 8:30. Well, the market did exactly that. At 10 o'clock, about an hour and a half later, at 10:06, we got into the buy zone. Now this is there's only 3 zones, okay? So when we talk about liquidity grabs, we're talking about this low being broken, that low being broken. And what the smart money or the algorithms like to do is they like to add liquidity or add order blocks, buy order blocks in this area. And the reason they do that is it catches the wrongly positioned traders. So when you break this low, you have this market start free falling into our buy zone. And this is when they're grabbing liquidity. Why do they do that? Is because they're looking to bring the market in the other direction, which it did. The market rallied hard. So the entry was at 64.90 plus or minus a few ticks depending on slippage. And the high was 65.23 or 65.22 and 3/4. So we're talking about a 32-point move on the S&P from a buy zone that was projected an hour and a half before it even happened. But that's how they do it. So when we talk about liquidity grab buying, we're talking about these lows or highs being broken, and where you get these algos and these institutional traders, hedge funds, prop firms, they like to buy the pullbacks. Now our buy zone was 68 to 72 yesterday. Got right in the zone and she came right out of it. But that's essentially what a liquidity grab is. It's catching the wrongly positioned traders going the opposite direction to fill their orders, these order blocks, and to push this market to the other side. Okay, so the market came down inside of our zone. Now we have 3 zones. I went over that yesterday in the video. If you can replay that video. The dash level is our 100 proprietary sim zone. And then we got our 200 proprietary sim zone down here. This is all created by our sim zone that we created. It's our 200 sim zone. And then we got our standard 25 sim zone, which I'll show you in 1 second. That comes up. So these levels, they don't come up a lot, the 100 and 200 zone. But what happens, like I said yesterday in the video I played, sometimes you get confluence, where you'll get the 25 zone, which I'll show you in a second, conflues with one of these zones also. These zones do not repaint, okay? So they are fixed They do not repaint. So you're not going to see these zones disappear. I leave these zones on a 24/7 chart, and you can just let it run. Now, I showed you how you can use a NYMEX if you want to get a little bit more advanced, to use more zones. But typically, I just let it run 24/7 in the room, and you'll get these zones that are critical levels, all right, that can reverse price. So 64.89.5 entry on the ES, 64.5 to 90 entry on the ES. Ran almost 32 S&P points up. That's a really nice liquidity grab buy. Projected an hour and a half on yesterday's video before it even happened. That's why I'm going to do these videos on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I'm going to start out with this chart, and I'm going to show you the reversal points. We're going to start out and show you how you can use leading indicators by showing the possible reversal zone. I mean, where can you go and look for a possible 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 point move on these S&P trades? We're not talking about 1 to 2 point scalps. These are big possible reversal points where we can use a strategy or the indicator and to let it run outside these zones. So if I look at today, where's my zones today? My zones today, right there. You can't get long at this zone because it's not inside the zone. You have to get inside of the zone. You have to get inside of the zone in reverse inside the zone. That's how accurate these zones are. You have to get inside of it here, add it or close inside of it, and then give us a reversal candle. It cannot close outside the zone. Don't make it any more difficult than that. So that was our projection yesterday here, and it came right down to it, and it rallied 32 points, an hour and a half heads up. So we're going to do the same thing today. We know exactly where our reversal zone is. Our reversal zone is between 82.5 to 86.5, 69.5 to 73.25. Now, what if the market does this? I went over this yesterday. Now, the market's in a downtrend currently right now on the smaller Renko chart. What if it comes down to this deep zone and it jets right through it? It doesn't give a reversal candle. Hey, that's great. That means they're not trying to buy the order block. They're trying to sell the order block. We'll look for a retest inside of this zone, and we're going to look for a continuation like that. It can only do two things on these zones, guys. You come down and you V-bottom right inside that zone. And these zones are, like I said, do not repaint. These zones are good for all day until they restructure and show different zones, which they can during the day. But typically, like if you look at this zone yesterday, this zone was known. This zone was known the day before at 4:20 in the afternoon. We know this reversal zone. In fact, it caught this reversal zone here. If you look at this zone, right there, two big inflection points, one there and one here. So these zones are viable all the way through to the next year or so. And you can see how they break retest, big zone there, caught the big move up, rejected there, rejected there, rejected there. I mean, they're very, very neat zones, deep zones to look for. So that's what we'll look for this morning. Those are projected zones today. I leave these up in the upper left-hand corner in the room that runs from Sunday night at 6 p.m. until tonight at 5 p.m. So those are projected zones. We'll leave that up there. Now, the other zone we have is the 25 zone. This is a buy signal we had yesterday. Aaron, good job for catching this. Aaron was typing in the room that he was long at that level. Good job, Aaron. So you see our trend zone is up, and we came right into a yellow entry candle right at 11, and it rallied all the way up to 23. We always talk about this. We're looking for a 10 to 12 point move, statistically speaking. If you look at our trend zone, statistically speaking, over the last 30 years, this reverses price, this trend zone. We tested the S&P over the past 30 years as this is the best zone, our 54.38 zone as the best zone to reverse price. So what we had found, if we get inside of the 54.38 zone and we get a reversal, our updated indicator and strategy will turn yellow. Your speakers will go off saying you got a possible buy signal. They went off at 13.35 yesterday or 1:35. Your speakers gave you an alert saying, hey, you got a possible buy signal, and we got a nice move up. You'll do the same thing in all markets. The Dow, Russell 2000, whether you trade corn, soybeans, euro, pound, whatever you trade. This works on crypto, stocks, whatever market you trade is the same exact setup. You get a yellow trigger candle that you'll see. So right now what we're looking at is we're looking at a possible downtrend this morning going into the news here in 2 minutes. And you can see we have our standard zone is red, looking to short, right? We're looking to short, and we got a possible sell zone up here. It can get as high as this, retrace, reversal candle. I just can't close outside this line in the sand. I know the line in the sand in the market this morning is 08.5, another breaking point in the market that can reverse to the upside. So as long as we stay below 08.5, we're looking to be net sellers. So I'm looking for a 100 to 200 point or zone break retest or a 25 zone or continuation to the downside as of right now. Now, if we get through this level, this line in the sand, then you'll probably trend change, you'll turn green, and we'll simply look for a first buy retracement long right there, and we'll try to get long the market if it wants to do that. No problem. We go with where the market tells us to go. We don't try to guess where these turning points are. Let the algorithm do the whole work. Remember, this is algorithm based. You know, all this volume that's coming in the market, all this volume that comes in on a daily basis on the S&P, that's not the public, that's not retail, right? This is institutionally pushed markets. You got these top algorithms out there, whether it be Goldman, with their Delta algorithms or so on. You got them pushing this market around, and what we do is we just piggyback off of their order flow. If they're pushing it down, we'll look to sell the retracement. If they're pushing it up, we're going to buy the retracement inside of our zones. So the news just came out. You can see the news just released. So if it reverses right here, we're inside of the trend zone. We're inside of the 25 zone. It'd have to reverse here at 08.5 to get a sell signal. You'd have to reverse at this level. We're in the sell signal. We're in a downtrend. If it breaks this level, we're probably going to change gears. We'll look for the first retest long when it changes over. Okay. Now you won't get a yellow trigger candle or entry candle unless you're inside of my trend zone. But it's still a sell because we're in the 25 sell zone right now, like we trade the 100 and 200 like yesterday.